is coming back up is for two different reasons. One being is that there's a trial that is going to be taking place, I believe in January. We'll go through some of this article here in a bit. And also because the man that is involved decided he was going to start running for office. Now, this story, if you guys don't know anything about it, is kind of it's going to aggravate you, especially for you parents out there. But I'm going to just read one of the latest updates. Aaron Spencer does plan to run for county sheriff here, and that's why these articles are starting to pop up again. But I want to share something with you, and we're going to read through this real quick. An Arkansas father who allegedly killed a man he found in a truck with his teenage daughter is now running for sheriff. Now, again, the story that's the news story, but we're gonna get into the actual story when it first popped off. Aaron Spencer, 37. Again, he announced that he's running for office. He was charged with second-degree murder, and he is scheduled to stand trial in 2026. Now, what happened? Well, he fatally shot Michael Fossler in on October 8th of 2024. This is out of Arkansas. Got a lot of family there. The shooting occurred after the military veteran allegedly found his 14-year-old daughter in a truck with a 67-year-old man. Spencer allegedly told police that Fossler kidnapped his daughter and lunged towards him when he ordered him out of the truck. And he told the police that he had no choice. Now, a lot of stuff that got lost in this is that, well, Michael Fossler, the guy that was killed, was already a pedophile. He was already facing multiple charges, including internet stalking of a child, sexual assault, sexual indecency with a child, and possession of child pornography. That's before he was seen in a truck with a 14-year-old girl that was not his. He says, I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. And through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures of law enforcement in our circuit court. I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. Now, I'm going to put it to you like this. I could not imagine seeing my child in a truck for any reason with a convicted, with a pedophile. I think any father, especially, is going to see red and he's going to take the trash out. And that's what I consider something like this, taking the trash out. Nothing of value was lost. A father took it in his own hands to deal with this problem. End of story. It should be the end of the entire discussion. There shouldn't be anything else that we need to discuss. But I get it. Why do you believe that the government is being, though this seems like a clear-cut case of, look, man, let bygones be bygones, they're going to say, hey, we're a nation of laws, we're a state of laws, we can't be dealing with vigilantes, you have to go through the proper procedure, and you can't take justice within your own hands. That's the argument that all of these folks are going to make. And while I can somewhat empathize with that fact when there is something a little more or less egregious than this, but when you are dealing with the absolute scum of the earth, and we're talking pedophiles here, these are people that have made it abundantly clear that they cannot live among your social order. They are willing to take advantage of the most vulnerable people in your social order. And therefore, if that social order is going to maintain itself as exactly that, well, they have to be either physically removed, be it in prison or something like that, or in this case, the trash got taken out because he's already a pedophile, noted pedophile, and it looked like he was about to commit another pedophilic act because he's in a truck with a 14-year-old girl. Guys, it sucks that unfortunately this is where we're at. And again, everybody's going to say, well, you can't blame the people that arrested them. Everybody's just doing their jobs. But as we say all the time, what happens when the people that are supposed to do their jobs don't actually see justice through? I know maybe you see that as dangerous because maybe you look at it like, well, folks that maybe otherwise would not be are now emboldened to take justice into their own hands. My argument on that has been very consistent. Yes, if they are going to act with an error, then they have to be punished for it. That's the risk that you take. But when a father takes out the trash on a known pedophile with his daughter, there should be no charges. Officers and it should go shouldn't even it should say, hey, what happened here? Oh, this is what happened. We've done the documentation. This is objectively a pedophile. He's with a 14-year-old. Hey, we're through here. We'll take the body and probably throw it in a wood chipper and go about our business. Doesn't even deserve a proper burial. He's a fucking pedophile. It should be over with. There's nothing else to discuss. But here we are. And look, you hear nightmare stories about this all the time. You hear stuff about this, like even in the act of self-defense, where you have people that unfortunately are going to stand trial for like murder, right? In self-defense. I've dealt with this before. I don't know if you guys remember. I've told the story before. Um, and then there's going to be probably leftists that listen to this again and say it's just stuff. But I had a cousin that went to jail for killing someone. He's out now, but a guy was took basically some car seats like out of his car. It's a bunch of other stuff, and he caught him in the act and ended up shooting him. And again, literal thief. And I think thieves are among some of the worst of society. I hate that. Unfortunately, in this culture, people act like stuff is just stuff. They don't consider anything else. So we're very light on actual criminals. I think thieves should be punished far more than what they actually are to deter folks from stealing from others. But yeah, that ended up happening. Caught him in the act. And the whole idea here though is that the government is going to say you don't deal with that. You tell the cops to go deal with it. And obviously the cops, look, man, anybody that's had run-ins with these guys know that's the last thing on their mind is trying to retrieve your stuff. They're not even going to even give it an attempt. The government seems to be, in a lot of cases with their laws, it is designed to deter you from being able to act independently and being able, even if you're fully capable, can make the judgment calls and fully capable of solving a problem. They don't want you to do it. And in fact, when you do it because it wasn't them, they would punish you. Arkansas, do not make this mistake going into this trial where you end up putting a man away for taking out the trash. And he did everybody around him in this community a favor by offing a pedophile.